The 2024 Formula One season provided stories that will live long in the memory. It was arguably one of the most exciting motorsport competitions of the modern era, crammed with action, drama, upsets, controversies, and some outstanding driving throughout the field. The biggest pre-season story was undoubtedly the news that seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton had signed a deal to drive for Ferrari, meaning this would be his final season with Mercedes, the team he joined in 2013, and with which he'd won 6 of his titles.
I've been with this team such a long time. There's so much love within the team, and I still and will always will love this team. So everyone was incredibly understanding within the team and hugely supportive. And everyone knows that I'm here to deliver for them this year, so that's the focus. So it's the same as any other year.
On the first day of testing in Bahrain, Max Verstappen topped the timing tables, and many an impartial observer feared for another season of total domination by the Dutch master, with Red Bull's 2024 challenger, the RB20, looking very much like an upgrade of Adrian Newey's record-breaking car from the previous year. However, the Ferraris looked pacey on the subsequent 2 days, and McLaren fared far better than they had 12 months previously, when they'd been horribly off the pace in what was clearly a misstep in their design philosophy. A record 24 races lay ahead in what would become the busiest season in F1 history to date. The first Grand Prix was on familiar ground, the Bahrain International Circuit. In practice, the Red Bulls looked out of sorts, struggling with their setups, but Max made it count when it mattered, taking his first pole position of the season.
The new season is underway, and it's a good reaction time for Max Verstappen. Little bit of a wiggle, but he maintains the lead. Look at the sparks flying as the teammates go wheel to wheel. Charles Leclerc refusing to give it up, but he's got no choice. Perez knows what's coming, tries the up and under, applies the power, super aggressive stuff, and position gained. The Dutch driver continues his domination of Formula One. Max Verstappen wins the season opener. Red Bull expected, Red Bull delivered. It's a 1-2 for the team, chased home by Carlos Sainz.
Carlos Sainz went from a podium to a hospital bed, the Spaniard with an appendicitis, as the teams moved to Saudi Arabia for round 2. Taking his Ferrari for the weekend, 18-year-old reserve driver Oliver Bearman, who put in a fine performance to score points on his debut.
Ferrari's youngest ever Formula One driver is a point scorer at the first attempt.
And P7, awesome job, mate.
I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun out there.
And you're the driver of the day out there. Good showing.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
But out in front, it was again looking ominous for Red Bull's would-be challengers.
Eat, sleep, win, repeat. Verstappen takes the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to lead home a Red Bull 1-2.
Melbourne, another round, another Verstappen pole. Red Bull were again looking a class apart.
And Formula One is underway in Melbourne. These two started life in Formula One together at Toro Rosso, and they're about to go wheel to wheel. You're watching a Ferrari take the lead of the Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz, first opportunity offered up, first opportunity taken, and the man who didn't race in the last round leads in round 3.
It is smoke out of the back of Verstappen's car. Reliability could be a question mark.
Can you believe what we're seeing? The man who has finished every Grand Prix since he retired from this one in 2022 has smoke from the rear of the car. It's gone. It's gone. The man who was trying to win 10 Grand Prix in a row for the second time in his Formula One career. A fire at the back of the car. The dreams of victory gone. Oh, big crash! George Russell with a massive accident at the end of the Grand Prix at turn number 6. What a performance! What a comeback! A Ferrari 1-2, headed by Carlos Sainz.
We got it. Yes, we have it. P1, baby, P1.
This is amazing. Life is a roller coaster.
It is.
Life is incredible sometimes.
I think it's amazing. You know, the universe works in very special ways, and for Carlos to bounce back from, you know, being out of the car, being laying in a hospital bed, to come back here, not being 100% fit, and then, to be honest, you know, I would have loved to have been able to see actually if Max was able to continue, because the pace of the Ferrari and also Carlos in it was just so strong today.
You arrive to the first race and boom, a good podium that gets the season going, and then suddenly the appendix, the unknown of when am I going to be back in full form, how long it's going to take me to get back up to speed and confident, and then suddenly you come back and win. Yeah, it just shows how beautiful is life in that sense. You know, what a roller coaster, but life is good sometimes.
A new dawn for the chasing pack, or merely a Red Bull blip? Sadly for Ferrari and McLaren, it appeared to be the latter, with Max taking another victory in Suzuka and 2 wins in Shanghai, in both the Grand Prix and the F1 Sprint, the first of 6 of the shorter form races scheduled throughout the year. However, all was not well in the Red Bull camp, and before the next round it was announced that Adrian Newey, arguably the greatest car designer in F1 history, would be leaving the organisation at the end of the year. In Miami, the Milton Keynes outfit felt besieged, but down in Woking, they'd been working miracles.
From front wing to rear wing, pretty much every part of the car has been subject to some development. This car actually comes slightly ahead of time compared to what we had planned initially.
These parts are clearly not just about cooling the brakes. There's clearly a big aerodynamic advantage to some of these parts like this. Here is the new side pod duct. This is their big development item for this race, and it's got tongues wagging and eyes looking as well.
It took a while for the papaya power to prove itself. Max won the sprint around the Hard Rock Stadium and put himself on pole for the Grand Prix.
And the Miami Grand Prix is underway. Poor start for Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen maintains the lead. Oh, he was nearly hit by his teammate. Oscar Piastri is up to 2nd position. Race leader with the swap on, trying to take avoiding action, and he clobbers the bollard. Max Verstappen has been called to the pits. Oscar Piastri leads the Grand Prix for McLaren.
It's a long game. There's not going to be a lot of overtaking. It's going to be a race about tyre management and strategy.
Lando Norris is yet to stop. Off the road goes Kevin Magnussen, Logan Sargent there as well. And this is a big moment for Lando Norris. The full safety car is out. Lando Norris is going to get the benefit.
Today was the day that someone was like, I'm going to throw a safety car now.
And Lando Norris is going to venture back out onto the racetrack as the race leader. Can Lando Norris keep Max Verstappen behind? We're fighting immediately on the restart here. Norris, Verstappen, then Leclerc. Carlos Sainz trying to go the long way round and claim 4th place, but it's elbow thrown by Oscar Piastri. It's a landmark day for Lando. Lando Norris wins for the first time in Formula One.
Oh, I love you all. We did it!
It's incredible. I don't know what I'm going to say. I just want to smile the rest of the day. Yeah, it's an amazing feeling seeing everyone applauding and cheering and seeing the whole team there, so happy.
Max was back to winning ways at Imola, but Lando was right on his heels, chasing him all the way.
Verstappen is nearly there. He's nearly home. Max Verstappen will take back the top step. What a finish from those two across the line. He beats Lando Norris by 0.7 of a second.
I was just praying for one more lap. I was just praying for someone to say one more lap. You know, one more lap, at least he would have had to defend into turn 1 and maybe something could have come from that. But 1 lap too late.
On to Monaco, and there was a chance of redemption for one driver. A combination of bad luck and poor strategy had hampered Charles Leclerc's attempts to win his home Grand Prix over the years. Now, with the Ferraris much more competitive, it was looking like his time had finally come. The Monegasque topped 2 of the practice sessions and nabbed pole position. Teammate Sainz was on the second row, and either side of the Scuderia drivers were the McLarens, adorned in their special Ayrton Senna-inspired livery.
And the Monaco Grand Prix is underway. We get the launch from the line from Charles Leclerc. He's going to maintain the lead. Looks like the sparks out of the back of the car for Sainz. He has got a problem. He's off and he's out. Watch Oscar Piastri in second place. He's all over the back of the Scarlet Ferrari, trying to chase his way by. Would have been bold. One Ferrari out immediately, and the red flag is flying on lap 1 of 78. Oh, that's a big crash that we didn't see further back. Look, no front left, no front right.
Very unnecessary, you know, like we had a lot of damage. We had a very dangerous incident. He goes towards the wall comes a little bit back towards the track. I have nowhere to go, so I don't know if he didn't see me or what, but you know, I can't just disappear.
Obviously it's an unfortunate incident, you know, for us to retire early in the race after a long race that they was gonna go later on.
What did he do? What did he do? What did he try to attack me?
Red flag.
Gosh. The whole car is damaged now.
In 2017, Charles Leclerc lost his father, and in these final days, he told his father a white lie, that he'd made it to Formula One, that he'd signed the contract. It wasn't true then, but his driving has made it true now, and look what he's done with the opportunity. The grandstands he saw built as a kid growing up now rise for him, and for the first time in 93 years, this fabled race is won by one of their own. Charles Leclerc wins the Monaco Grand Prix to achieve his dream.
We won it! Finally!
Yes! 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 Yes!
It was a wet affair in Montreal, which offered strategic options for some of the midfield teams. With standing water on many parts of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Haas opted for full wets, while everyone else gambled with the Inters.
And the Canadian Grand Prix is underway. They crawl off the line with George Russell chopping across Max Verstappen. Further back we go, and you can see Sergio Perez close there with Gasly.
Slightly sliding, Gasly coming across him a little bit.
He's in another league right now on that full wet tyre. Magnussen is going all the way to the front of the field as it stands. He's passing people for fun, and he's up 7 places from where he started. We had a lot of fun with Kevin Magnussen, but now Haas have conceded that it's time. Oh, it's slow, it's so slow. And after all of that overtaking, it's a slow stop for Kevin Magnussen.
Felt like there was something coming there in the beginning of the race, and nothing to show for it.
Lando Norris gets past Max Verstappen and takes second place in the Grand Prix. This is the battle for the lead. Norris moving past, under braking and going through. The safety car is deployed, and there is Logan Sargent.
Norris has gone through, he's come past us, and he hasn't pitted. There's now an opportunity for the likes of Verstappen, Russell and Piastri to dive in. In Miami, Verstappen caught the safety car.
Looking out of the window to see whether Lando Norris comes in. Does he pit? Yes, he does. Max Verstappen is going to retake the lead. There's that line. They were racing to that point. One Williams still left in the Grand Prix is Alex Albon, and he is fighting his way past the RB, fighting his way past the Alpine, and that is dramatic stuff.
In comes Verstappen, in comes Russell. No, Norris stays out. Big decision there for McLaren.
That is fascinating stuff. They've given him a lap in clear air. Lando Norris on the right, Max Verstappen on the left-hand side of your picture, and Lando Norris is going to be standing on the power in the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix for a second, but the tyres aren't up to temperature. There's nothing between the two of them. The error opens the door for George Russell. Once again, it's a safety car out on the circuit for another twist in this Canadian Grand Prix.
I was kind of expecting him to stop, but the way it rolled around, and a bit of a passenger. So frustrating because for sure points was available today.
Russell trying to power around the outside. They're close to contact. They're nearly banging wheels into the corner. And Lewis Hamilton's roaring by as well. Lewis Hamilton in Montreal. He is just a master.
Yuki Tsunoda.
He went off the road at turn 8. Is narrowly avoided by those behind. Now time for Mercedes versus Mercedes for the last step on the podium.
We are racing. Just remember, it goes without saying, keep it clean, please.
The two Silver Arrows heading to the final chicane. He had the warning, but he got the place. For the 60th time in Formula One, Max Verstappen takes the win.
Yes, what a race, guys. Not easy, but we did it.
There you go, what goes around comes around. That's Miami back.
The same 1-2 in Barcelona, just 2 seconds separating winner Verstappen from the chasing Norris. But it was a reversal for Mercedes, Hamilton on the podium this time. On to Spielberg, another sprint, another dominant display from Max in the short form race. But it wasn't all plain sailing.
So late on the brakes, Lando Norris dives to the inside and takes the lead.
I had a good opportunity, I went for it when I had the chance.
But Max Verstappen is trying to reply, and he will go ultra late on the brakes as well.
I didn't keep it, he did nothing special, I just did a bad job. Shocking decisions by me.
The once mighty Mercedes, languishing somewhat since the introduction of the new regulations in 2022, had been making slow and steady progress over the first 10 races, and those back-to-back third and fourths had buoyed their spirits. At the Austrian Grand Prix, Max and Lando may have locked out the front row in qualifying, but George Russell put himself just behind the pair as the lights went out at the Red Bull Ring.
And the Austrian Grand Prix is underway. Perfect reaction time for Max Verstappen. He's got what he needed off the line. He's going to be past his teammate. And Lewis Hamilton is up to third position. But George Russell wants the place back. Will they play fairly? Russell retakes P3. Again, the Alpines are providing us with on-track action. The team won't like it, but it's brilliant entertainment for us.
Suddenly, out of nowhere, we've got a race on our hands.
What a late lunge it was, but he'll have to give that place back, and he knows it. And now, on lap 63, Lando Norris slows it down. That one will count if he can stand on the power. Max Verstappen was off the road to maintain the place. There'll be all sorts of investigations there.
Unfortunately, I don't forget.
How clever is it?
Game on once again. This time it's the outside line. Oh, they made contact. He's got a puncture. He's damaged his front wing. The leading contenders for the World Championship come together at turn 3. The crowd can't believe it. Verstappen and Norris come together chasing the lead.
Yeah, he reacted to my move. You're not allowed to do that. Nice. Oh my god.
Okay, box, Max. Box.
These two friends, turned rivals, turned into each other at turn number 3. George Russell into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix.
George, you can win this. You can win this, George.
Just let me drive.
Piastri going alongside, trying to take second place. This is absolutely unbelievable stuff. George Russell wins an amazing Austrian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen limped home to 5th place. Norris classified but didn't see the flag on track.
When it came to qualifying at Silverstone, it was the home drivers who stole the show. Russell taking pole from Hamilton, with Norris close behind.
Lights out, away we go. George Russell gets a good getaway. Lewis Hamilton tucks in behind. Verstappen's got the outside line. That works really well for Max Verstappen. He gets in front of the McLaren. Lando Norris is going on the attack, and he passes Max Verstappen. You're on board with Oscar Piastri. He's through as well, as long as he can make the corner. It's a bit slippery.
It's raining, it's really slippery.
George Russell trying to defend from his teammate. Can he do anything? I don't think he can. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the British Grand Prix. We've got a long way to go in this race. Oh, both off, both run wide.
It's really chucking it down, and none of them have pitted. Norris to the inside.
Lando Norris takes second place. Look how close Lando Norris is to Lewis Hamilton. There's a real chance he's going to overtake in an unusual area. He's done it. Lando Norris now takes the lead of the British Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri getting alongside Lewis Hamilton. Just has to finish the move down into Stoke Corner, and he's done it. It's only Norris who's told to come in, but this could hurt Piastri later. Hamilton's told to come in.
Mercedes double stack. Russell's in behind him.
Oh, Russell's being told retire the car. George Russell in the pits. Oh my goodness, the man who started from pole position, who took victory last week in Austria. He is out of the British Grand Prix.
Hamilton's in, and Norris stays out. He comes past the commentary box.
So this is fascinating. Is this going to be the right decision to go onto the slick tyres on this lap? Interestingly, Verstappen has come in as well.
In he comes. This has got to be perfect. Hamilton was a second and a half quicker in the middle sector. McLaren might have blown it by staying one extra lap, and Lewis is going to come through.
Hamilton comes out in front of Lando Norris. Here comes Max Verstappen. He moves to the outside and he makes the move. He's up into second place, and Lando was not able to fight that. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix. He takes his 9th win at Silverstone, his first win in nearly 1,000 days in Formula One, his 104th victory ever. Absolutely brilliant.
Get in there, Lewis! You're the man!
Thank you so much, guys. It means a lot. It means a lot to get this one. A big thank you to all the fans here. Love you guys.
This is a lovely moment, isn't it? And you can see the emotion, even though we can't see his face, you can feel the emotion in Lewis with his dad. And this is a really special moment.
Halfway through the season, and Max Verstappen still had a commanding lead in the fight for the driver's crown. But McLaren's upgrades had seen improvement for Lando Norris. Red Bull seemed in command of the constructors' battle, but Checo's disappointing run of form since Imola meant they weren't scoring as highly each round, and Ferrari, McLaren and Mercedes were finding more. It was looking likely to be a much closer affair towards the back end of the season. If anyone was doubting the upgraded McLaren's power and pace, Budapest put pay to those thoughts. The Papaya cars locked out the front row at the Hungaroring, with Verstappen qualifying P3, the top trio separated by less than 0.05 of a second.
And the Hungarian Grand Prix is underway. Lando Norris chops across his teammate, but it's a good reaction time for Oscar Piastri. The two Papaya cars go side by side with Piastri down to the inside. Verstappen trying to go the long way round. Piastri takes the lead of the race. Lando Norris in second. Verstappen off the road as he rejoins, having gone off all four wheels. He's slowing down, they will switch positions, and Lando Norris takes second place. Red Bull decide not to risk the penalty. Hamilton on the left-hand side, Verstappen trying to sweep around the outside and take the place. He goes off the road, he can't slow it down, and it's Hamilton staying in third for the moment.
It's quite impressive how we let ourselves get undercut at this completely race.
Lando Norris will be the McLaren that gets the fresh tyres first.
Can he undercut Piastri from here? 2 seconds.
That's the question, isn't it? Can he get onto the fresher rubber? Can he put the pressure on that way? They chose to bring in their leader in the championship. This is going to be a huge moment. Lando Norris goes past his teammate, and it's going to be the net lead of the Grand Prix. They told Piastri it was to cover off Hamilton. Is that the moment that has decided our winner today?
Okay, Lando, Oscar has just pitted. We'd like to re-establish the order at your convenience. We need you to save more tyres, please, and we do want to let Oscar through.
We should have boxed him first then, surely, no?
Doesn't matter.
I mean, it does. For me, maybe.
This time he gets there, he locks up and he makes contact with his old rival. Verstappen and Hamilton come together again.
The way to win a championship is not by yourself, it's with the team. You're going to need Oscar and you're going to need the team.
Lando Norris is backing off. He was on the cusp of a second Grand Prix victory. A swap of positions. Oscar Piastri goes back through into the lead of a Grand Prix. The Australian driver advances all the way to the checkered flag. Oscar Piastri wins for the first time in Formula One, as Lewis Hamilton claims his 200th podium in Formula One.
Ooh, that was fast.
You had a fast car 7 years ago. 7 years ago. You had it. You had a quick car. You made the most of it. Now it's us.
On to Spa-Francorchamps, one of the most iconic tracks on the F1 calendar, where the so-called silly season was in full swing. The driver contract merry-go-round had been set in motion pre-season, with Hamilton's announcement of his move to Ferrari. Nico Hülkenberg had signed a deal with Sauber for 2025 back in April. His Haas seat was subsequently given to Ollie Behrman, who'd so impressed as a stand-in for the ailing Carlos Sainz in Saudi. Now, ahead of the Belgian Grand Prix, the American team announced that Esteban Ocon would try for them next year, meaning Kevin Magnussen would be out of a seat.
It is exciting. As I said, it is a new challenge for me, which I'm very much looking forward to, and to be racing with Holly as well. He's an exciting young prospect. Many people say he's going to be a future world champion, so I look forward to be teaming up with him and hopefully push the team forward.
Qualifying at Spa was affected by the weather, and again Max showed his mastery of the wet, the quickest driver on track, but took a 10-place drop for a technical penalty, gifting top spot to Charles Leclerc. Beside him, the underperforming Sergio Perez, who was starting to feel the pressure.
And Formula One is underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. Great start for Lewis Hamilton. He's up to second place. He's immediately past Sergio Perez. Charles Leclerc holds the lead. Side by side we go with Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez into Eau Rouge. No, Hamilton's ahead. He's trying to take the lead from Charles Leclerc. Now with the help of DRS out of the slipstream to the race lead for Lewis Hamilton. And this is crucial. Russell's getting past Oscar Piastri. So going to the new rubber earlier on has worked for George Russell. Can Piastri do something about it immediately? Piastri has to go on the attack here. Vital that he gets to the inside of Russell. He needed to make the move, and he did. DRS open. Russell breezes by and takes fourth place.
I think we'll have a one-stop.
Piastri's close to Leclerc again.
Charles Leclerc looking in the mirrors. Piastri wants that inside line. Leclerc is not going to give it to him. So going the long way round and taking the position is Oscar Piastri, who fights his way to third. Driving brilliance from the wheel of George Russell, who takes one of the greatest drives you will ever witness to the top step of the podium.
Yes! Woohoo!
Fire Whisperer.
Fire Whisperer.
However, celebrations turned to commiserations for Russell. Found to be 1.5 kilograms underweight post-race, the Briton was disqualified, and the victory given to Silver Arrow teammate Hamilton. Everyone needed a summer break, but Carlos Sainz worked hard in the gap, the Spaniard signing with Williams, securing a drive for 25.
Williams gave me the trust and the belief, and I believe in that, and I felt really encouraged by the project there, and really honestly motivated to see a team that wanted me so much.
At Zandvoort, the Orange Army were out in force, hoping for yet another Max masterclass around the dunes. However, McLaren were there to spoil the Dutch party.
It's a poor start for Lando Norris, and Max Verstappen takes the lead. On board with Lando Norris, trying to take the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. He's getting to the apex first. He's moving ahead. Lando Norris wins the Dutch Grand Prix with a crushing performance.
Sadly, this would be Logan Sargent's final race. The American driver had suffered a tricky second season with Williams. Memories of his slightly fortunate points finish in Austin last year, now a distant one. Williams team principal James Vowles took the difficult decision to replace him with academy driver Franco Colapinto for the remaining races. On to Monza, another of the legendary European circuits, where frenzied Ferrari fans, slightly starved of Scuderia success, waited desperately for a winner in Scarlet, the first since Leclerc in 2019. But Charles and Carlos could only manage 4th and 5th in qualifying. Ahead of them, a McLaren front row lockout.
and the Italian Grand Prix is underway. Lando Norris is looking at his teammate and he's got the launch that he needs. Russell goes onto the grass and over the road. Russell loses out as a result of going over the road at turn number 1. It's Charles Leclerc, then Carlos Sainz as the McLarens are side by side, and Oscar Piastri's going all the way around the outside to take the lead with a bold and brilliant move. Lando still can't keep the lead on lap number 1, and he's lost second place to Charles Leclerc.
Really tough between teammates at the start, but it's a brilliant move this from Piastri, and it is fair. He's left enough space at the apex. Lando's got the car under control. It's a really costly one for Lando.
Oscar Piastri in the pits. Charles Leclerc takes the lead of the Grand Prix.
It's a huge risk because they've just handed Ferrari right now a 1-2, and they can just see if they can make these hard tyres go to the end.
These are magical moments at Monza. The Tifosi are roaring him home, and for the second time in his career, Charles Leclerc is the winner of the Italian Grand Prix.
Ma come mi fai sognare, come mi fai sognare.
Grandissimi! Un'altra volta e torniamo!
Behrman returned to the fray in Azerbaijan, this time sitting in for his future team Haas, taking Kevin Magnussen's seat for the weekend after the Dane was slapped with a one-race ban for accumulating too many penalty points. The British rookie finished P10, thus scoring points for 2 different teams in a season. But it was Oscar Piastri's day in Baku. Teammate Norris was 4th, and Verstappen struggled, finishing 5th. Max now hadn't won a race since Spain, and Lando was chipping away at his lead in the Drivers' Championship. And under the lights in Singapore, Norris closed the gap even more. Starting from pole beside his rival, he led from the off, pushing his McLaren to the very limits. Barely troubled out front, he almost snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, his risky lines forcing a number of close shaves with Singapore's unrelenting walls.
This could have changed the outcome of our winner today. Lock up, and he brushes the barrier. That was so close to the end of his Grand Prix.
Norris held it together and came home first, but was denied the extra point for fastest lap at the death. Daniel Ricciardo took that honour on his final go-around in what he must have suspected was his last race for VCARB. The Australian driver had struggled to match the points haul of teammate Yuki Tsunoda, and with so many Red Bull Academy drivers waiting for a seat at the organisation's junior team, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, the cockpit is something that I got very, very used to for many years. And yeah, just wanted to savor the moment.
Replacing the Honey Badger for the remaining 6 races, New Zealander Liam Lawson, who'd ably sat in for the injured Australian in 2023. In Austin sprint qualifying, Max Verstappen seemed to have found his mojo again.
Finally, for Max Verstappen, he finds himself at the top of the timing page once again.
And as the sprint got underway, Lando went on the attack once more.
Max Verstappen goes defensive, didn't really need to, and he maintains the lead into turn number 1. Lando Norris trying to pinch ahead of all of them. Lando Norris on the attack, and he's up to second. Sainz and Leclerc putting on a show. Sainz got to the apex first, but again the up and under works for Charles Leclerc. Is that the moment for Carlos Sainz to get through? And this time Sainz will get ahead. Fernando Alonso having to get out of it.
Man, the Alpha Tauri is such an idiot.
Welcome to Formula One, Liam Lawson. Verstappen has checked out, but is there an opportunity for Sainz there? Thought about it, but he's conjured the lock-up from Lando Norris, and he's opened the door for Carlos Sainz to climb to second place on the final lap of the sprint. Max Verstappen wins another sprint race in Formula One.
Nice last lap, well controlled. Focus on tomorrow.
Yeah, good effort, guys. That was much better.
Norris top qualifying for the main event. Beside him on the front row, the current championship leader.
And the US Grand Prix is underway. Max Verstappen's going to give himself an opportunity into turn number 1, but Lando Norris is chopping across. There's the late lunge that Max Verstappen was looking for, but he sends Lando Norris wide, and through goes the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz, does he go super brave? The answer is yes, and now it's Verstappen off the road. He's been barged out of the way. Sainz feathers back the throttle because he knows he can't overtake him.
Yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, big lockup.
Off the road goes Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton out of the US Grand Prix.
Liam Lawson, Fernando Alonso back at it again.
The two that were arguing yesterday, continuing the conversation, not intimidated by a two-time world champion.
I have to give it to Liam Lawson, going from P19 to P9 in the race, of course, huge feat for him. On his debut weekend, definitely made a statement there.
He's got some dog in him because you're going against a two-time world champ and he wasn't backing down. Like you think maybe a driver would, like ease your way in. He's got a point to prove, hasn't he?
It's not a finishing school. It's Formula One. It's the top tier of motor racing, and he absolutely belongs after that weekend. That was superb from him. And looking for the inside, finding the inside, Franco Colapinto. That's another highlight moment. The two contenders again, separated by hardly anything, but still it's Verstappen ahead with 5 laps to go. Max Verstappen on the defensive, Lando Norris on the attack, Lando Norris going through on the brakes, or can Verstappen hang on to it? He keeps his foot in, they both go off the road.
Overtook the outside the track. I think goes ahead of the apex.
Lando Norris has a penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. He is 3.3 seconds ahead of Verstappen. It will not be enough. But Sunday is all about Charles. Another masterclass from Ferrari's favourite son. Charles Leclerc wins the US Grand Prix.
I guess I got a 5-second penalty. Yeah, they gave you 5 seconds just at the end there for leaving the track, gaining an advantage. Oh yeah, well then I should have just gone back behind him, shouldn't I?
It was a great battle between the top two in the World Championship, but it was resolved in Max Verstappen's favour. 354 points to his name, extending that advantage over Lando Norris, who's on 297. It is still McLaren out front, 40 points ahead of Red Bull Racing, with Ferrari closing in.
A week later, we were in Mexico City, where Carlos Sainz had put himself on pole ahead of Max and Lando.
We leave the line for the Mexican Grand Prix, and it's a good reaction time for Max Verstappen. He's got the inside line, he's got the momentum, he's surely going to get the lead. And now, Lando Norris is going to try and power past Carlos Sainz as well. Verstappen has the inside line and the opportunity. How brave will Carlos Sainz be? An immediate spin into the barriers for the V-carb. Off the road goes Carlos Sainz to maintain the lead. And Carlos Sainz feels the need to give the place back to Max Verstappen, having jumped over the road. Is he going to go for the late braking move? He is! That's the lead for Carlos Sainz! This is brave from Lando Norris, trying to go around the outside. Max Verstappen barges his rival off the road from Austin to Mexico City. They collide this time. Verstappen throwing it to the inside. They're both off. Extraordinary! It's a 10-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for forcing another driver off the track. Another 10-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. An opportunity for Perez. We're seeing so much overtaking. That was a car's width. They've made contact and Lawson stays ahead. Someone will be counting to 20 and then the signal will be given to the crew. There it is. And Verstappen serving 2 penalties. Oh, big moment off the road! And that's a huge moment of consequence off the road because it opens the door. Lando Norris is through to second place. Franco Colapinto, Liam Lawson, and contact between the Williams and the New Zealander.
And that might be debris at turn 12. I guess he's the same idiot that crashed like it. You watch the highlights later. Yeah, I'm watching it now.
Carlos Sainz wins the Mexico City Grand Prix. It will be a 10-point swing in the Drivers' World Championship after Lando Norris finishes in second. Our World Championship leader will come home in 6th place.
Yes. Yes.
Make a good weekend, Carlos.
Thank you. Oh, this feels good.
in the Formula One World Championship battle for constructors. Looks like it's going to be fought between Ferrari and McLaren all the way to Abu Dhabi.
The action came thick and fast as the season drew to a close. Sao Paulo hosted the third race weekend of this particular triple header, which featured another sprint. Kevin Magnussen was unwell, so Ollie Behrman once again climbed into the vacant Haas cockpit. The McLarens were majestic, locking out the front row and taking maximum points in the shorter race, after a little papaya rules place swapping. Grand Prix qualifying at Interlagos, where the rain came down.
Franco Colapinto into the barriers to bring out the red flag, and our first interruption, heavily into the wall goes the Ferrari. Lance Stroll found the wall, but the red flag is out. That is not enough time to restart the session. This could be the moment that changes the World Championship. No one would have predicted Verstappen out in Q2 as Alonso brings out the red flag. That is a massive accident to bring out the fifth red flag of the day.
Out of the chaos, Norris proved his championship credentials by bagging his 7th pole of the season. Verstappen opted for an additional power unit and dropped a further 5 spots to start P17 in Sunday's race, where again the rain fell.
Lance Stroll finds himself off the road on the formation lap, and he has got himself into difficulty. I think we're going to need an aborted start here.
Colapinto's also parked at the wrong grid slot.
Yeah, all sorts of procedures have been breached here, Max.
Yeah, you have to wait for a green light.
Lando Norris noted for a starting procedure infringement. Did Lando begin the second formation lap before the green lights were illuminated? The Sao Paulo Grand Prix is underway from the line. Good reaction time for George Russell. The lead for George Russell. The Mercedes man gets by. Round goes Checo. Sergio Perez spins round the Red Bull. And through the spray, having a go at Lewis Hamilton, fighting his way through and taking 10th place. The man on the charge, Max Verstappen, up to P10.
Ollie, we have a 10-second penalty for the collision with Colapinto.
Why? He didn't even lose any time.
Here we go with Max Verstappen in another league right now. Wasn't even a contest. The man showing us why he's a 3-time world champion. Another position gain. Lawson knows who he wants to join next year and he doesn't fight it. This was the spin round for Liam Lawson from Oscar Piastri, and he got a 10-second penalty for this. Hulkenberg has spun. I can see it out of the commentary box window. There he is as the rain hammers down. And Hulkenberg, usually so reliable when the rain has gone off, the virtual safety car is out to neutralise the race. Control-Alt-Delete, and we go again.
All right.
The top two felt the need to come into the pits and take on new tyres. Esteban Ocon rolls the dice. He's hoping now for a full stoppage with these conditions.
And it's an Alpine 1-3 right now. Verstappen splitting the difference in second.
Look at Lando Norris going through. That is a crucial move to move up to 4th position. And the safety car is finally deployed to neutralise the race. Big crash into the wall for Franco Colapinto. It is a red flag. The race is interrupted with Esteban Ocon, the leader. Hulkenberg received outside assistance, which is why he was shown the black flag. That flag is to disqualify a driver from the race. Esteban Ocon takes us back to racing conditions. Off the road goes Lando Norris. Off the road into the tarmac runoff for Oliver Behrman.
Oh, and we see the Ferrari going around.
Into the wall. Carlos Sainz to bring out the safety car once again. There's a big opportunity for George Russell, but a better one for Max Verstappen, who finds himself taking the lead as Lando Norris has gone off the road. The championship pendulum swings in one corner.
You see the command now from McLaren to swap positions. That was expected.
The Dutchman has delivered a defining drive. He climbs the hill back to Grand Prix victory. Max Verstappen wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, 17th on the grid to the win, and punching the air with delight is Esteban Ocon, who takes his 4th career podium, and he will be joined by his teammate for his 5th career podium, and for the first time in 11 years, Team Enstone have both cars on the podium.
Honestly crazy. I never expected to go from P17 to P1. I was hoping for good points, but this is absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Same as it was back in the days when we were the only one showing up at the track under the rain, freezing cold.
Exactly.
But it's all worth it.
It paid off today, and I tell you, when we did that formation, you know, in the in-lap, I think that's the first thing that came to my mind, you know. What a beautiful story that is.
Yeah. As a kid, from where we came from, to end up as teammates was against all odds, but to end up on the same podium,
that's more against all odds.
Yeah, it's on a season like this year, because no one would have been able to put a podium. But both cars on it, and in the way we did it is just incredible.
That whopping 33 points for Alpine saw them jump from 9th to 6th in the Constructors' Championship. The difference in potential prize money is huge for the lower placed teams, so this particular battle between Alpine, Haas and VCARB would be intense. Sao Paulo witnessed a Max masterclass and many a mishap for McLaren. It seemed Lando's hopes for a maiden driver's title were slipping away. Verstappen had just one job to do in Las Vegas.
If Max beats Lando tonight, he's champion of the world. Here are the lights. We're underway in Las Vegas and racing to turn number 1 with George Russell holding the lead. The battle is between Gasly and Sainz, and they open the door for Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc roars up to second. George Russell holds the lead. Oh, there was always going to be an opportunity for multiple overtakes there. Russell defends P1, but Gasly could not defend P4. It's game on at the front of the field. We roar through the 17th and final corner of the racetrack. Look at this scene between Mercedes and Ferrari, separated by hardly anything. There's no grip around the outside, surely. Out front, Carlos Sainz has fought his way up to second position. Charles Leclerc is now going to tumble off the podium. Through goes the championship leader. Norris gets past Gasly. He has moved up to 5th position. Took a while for Verstappen to get by. Sainz will be pitting. He's got no tyres left. That's Lewis Hamilton past Lando Norris, and that is for 6th position. Synchronised swimming. He's gone deep. He's gone on, and he's cut the line as he does so.
Now he pits, and that's going to cost Sainz a lot.
What happened? We're not ready. Wake up, guys, come on.
Oh, Perez trying to go past 2 of them in one corner and doing so. It's been a terrible season, but he absolutely roared by there. Here we go on the brakes for Carlos Sainz to get by, and Verstappen could not defend. To the inside, and claiming the position is Charles Leclerc. The defence for the man who will win the title in a few laps' time is over for the Ferraris. The British driver will look up and see the checkered flag first. He punches the air as George Russell wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix. It's second place for Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz will complete the podium, but further back, the Dutch driver will retain his crown. Max Verstappen is a 4-time Formula One world champion.
That is 4 in a row, Max. 4 in a row, congratulations. Max Verstappen, you are a 4-time world champion. That is a phenomenal achievement.
Oh my God, on the season, 4 times. Thank you guys, thank you to everyone. I mean, it was a little bit more difficult than last year, but we pulled through and we gave it all. Thank you so much, guys.
A lot of emotions right now. You know, it's been a long season, tough season as well. A lot of good races, but also a lot of tough races at the same time, and a lot of moments where, as a team, you know, we had to stick together and fine-tune a lot of bits in tough times. And it's not always been easy, but we remain calm and focused, you know, to the end goal. And also as a team in race weekends where we're clearly off pace, we still really maximize or even overperformed in some races, and that definitely made the difference.
McLaren still led in the constructors' race, but Ferrari had narrowed the gap considerably. However, in Qatar, in the final sprint race of the season, the Woking team extended their lead with another 1-2, Norris gifting the win to Piastri, returning the favour from Brazil.
Oscar Piastri goes past Lando Norris, and the McLaren swap on the 19th and final lap.
Ferrari would need some luck, as well as speed and strategy in the Grand Prix.
And the Qatar Grand Prix is underway. George Russell launches off the line. He'll have to chop across Max Verstappen, who's got good momentum. He's got the inside line. He's got the lead of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris fighting on the inside as well. Lando's going past the pair of them. How did he do that? He didn't do that because Verstappen managed to get his elbows out. Ocon and Colapinto stranded at turn 1, and they are out at the first turn.
Not something that we wanted, but yeah, I would like to thanks the guys for their effort this race, but also their effort the whole year.
Piastri's past Leclerc. Leclerc understeered at the final corner, just couldn't get through, but he dives back on the inside.
So was that to Albon? Which is why we had a yellow flag.
Check if he lifted for the yellow. There was a yellow in the middle of the straight.
Yeah, there was. We'll have a look, make sure he lifted.
Let's listen in then as he's going to blast past this.
Check the board.
Lando did not lift, folks.
Oh, you report that then?
That mirror has been hit. Has it done any damage? A lot of debris from below Hamilton's
Puncher for Lewis Hamilton off the road. Another one this time for Carlos Sainz. The mirror on the racing line, and Carlos Sainz has a puncher. 2 cars on 1 lap. We now have a full safety car. Perfect restart for Lando Norris.
Yeah, terrible restart for Max Verstappen based on his previous ones. He's under pressure.
Side by side we go for the Grand Prix victory. Verstappen versus Norris in the turn 1, and they'll both be going deep. Verstappen hangs on to it. Piastri gave it everything to get past Charles Leclerc. He couldn't get there. Verstappen maintains the lead. It's a 10-second stop-go penalty for Lando Norris for failing to slow under yellow flags. Here we go again between Albon and Magnussen. That is a roar around the outside. What a great move from a man heading out of Formula One in a week's time.
Oh. Nice one, Kev.
Max Verstappen cruises over the line to win his 9th Grand Prix of the year. Charles Leclerc comes home in 2nd place. Oscar Piastri completes the podium, and we will see you next week for a title fight between McLaren and Ferrari. And welcome back to the top 10. Zhou Guanyu and Sauber, they've finally scored in 2024.
A bittersweet outcome for the Sauber drivers, as both Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas had already learned that the sole remaining seat with the team for next year was to be given to Formula 2 champion Gabriel Bortoleto. There was another new face at the final race weekend of the season. With the Haas-bound Esteban Ocon released by Alpine early, Jack Doohan was given an early start to his 2025 racing contract. Ferrari's title challenge was hampered from the start, not just by McLaren's pace in qualifying, which was rapid, but by a 10-place grid penalty for Charles Leclerc due to a technical infringement. After another papaya front row lockout, it was McLaren's championship to lose.
It is time to answer the final question of the season. Who will we call the champion constructor of the world? And the season finale is underway. Good launch off the line for the 2 McLarens. Car stalling on the grid, dropping down there. Contact! Massive contact. Oscar Piastri making contact with the Red Bull as they flash through.
Magnussen trying to go by Perez up the inside into 6th.
And round he goes. Perez spins. A wild opening lap of the Grand Prix.
Well, this is on board with Oscar Piastri.
Oh, big contact. And how did that not rip the front wing off? This is some attacking drive from Charles Leclerc as Ferrari continue to fight for this constructors' title. Huge lock-up and contact between the Sauber and the Haas.
Oh, isn't that just great?
2 drivers looking at their last Grand Prix start, to have it end like that is really unfortunate for both.
It was my bad. I mean, I was defending with all tires and I tried to brake as late as I could, but just couldn't stop the car.
Whoa! He lost the air on the front wing. Piastri gathered it together. This is the moment that McLaren dreamed of. Lando Norris wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. McLaren are world champions of 2024. They win the Constructors' title for the first time since 1998. Around the outside goes Lewis Hamilton, and he's roared around the outside to take fourth away from George Russell. What a move! In his last drive for Mercedes, he was never going to accept finishing behind his teammate. Completing the podium and climbing 16 places will be Charles Leclerc, and Lewis Hamilton, up 12, completes his attacking stint with Mercedes. After a decade in the doldrums, a season to remember for one of Formula One's most famous constructors.
We did it, mate. We did it. World champions. Well done. Woo! Papaya on top. Huge congrats to everyone. Incredible. Well done, everyone. So proud of you all. You all deserve this. Thank you so much. It's been a special year.
84 wins, 78 pole positions, and 153 podiums. A standout stint in Formula One like no other. Hamilton and Mercedes sign off in style. And the top two teams in the World Championship, it's like times of old. Ferrari and McLaren. Another title for the famous team, restored to the top of the Formula One World Championship.
So, a fourth driver's crown for Mighty Max and a ninth constructors' title for McLaren. 7 different Grand Prix winners across the season, all taking more than one victory, and some of the tightest margins between cars in decades. Formula One delivered in 2024. There'll be shake-ups across many teams next year, with rookies joining the fray and some seasoned heads shifting seats. The race is on to refine and rebuild for next year. We can anticipate another exciting and closely fought championship, and if it's half as good as this one, we're in for a treat.